With LEGO Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight bringing the series back under the bat signal, I, Suggestive Gaming, figured now would be a good time to revisit the surprisingly large story told across TT Games' LEGO DC universe. Now, on the surface, these are obviously goofy LEGO games, but across the LEGO Batman trilogy and LEGO DC supervillains, there's still an actual continuity here. Do note that, as always, I'll be focusing on the main story, skipping most side missions, collectibles, and open world distractions, because if I stopped to cover every gold brick, we'd be here until LEGO Alfred finally unionizes. Now, despite the Cape Crusader showing up in other LEGO movies and games, including the multiverse combining LEGO Dimensions, this video is going to cover TT Games' trilogy of LEGO Batman games, as well as its supervillain spin-off, foregoing the LEGO Batman who appears in the movies and animated projects. This is Suggestive Gaming, after all. Now, without further ado, this is what you need to know about the story of the LEGO Batman and LEGO DC supervillains games. Our story begins, as it often does, in Gotham City, where Batman's greatest enemies stage an escape from Arkham Asylum. Rather than all working together under one grand plan, the villains split into three separate groups, each led by one of Gotham's biggest problems: the Riddler, the Penguin, and of course, the Joker. Commissioner Gordon catches wind of the jailbreak and calls in Batman and Robin to stop the escapees from spreading havoc. The Riddler forms the first group, recruiting Clayface, Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, and Two-Face. Together, they begin setting up a plan to rob the Gotham gold reserves. Before making their move, the group gathers everything they need. Clayface helps steal a key, Mr. Freeze provides the freezing technology, Poison Ivy gets her hands on fast-growing plant seeds, and Two-Face brings the manpower and getaway support. Batman and Robin follow the trail of clues across the city, taking down each member of the group one by one. Clayface is caught after the first robbery, Mr. Freeze is stopped in his frozen hideout, Poison Ivy's plant-based defenses are destroyed, and Two-Face is eventually cornered as the plan moves towards the gold reserve itself. The Riddler does manage to get close to the prize, but, like usual, his greatest weakness is that he can't commit a crime while staying quiet about it. Batman and Robin use his own clues to track him down, defeat him, and send him and his crew back to Arkham Asylum. With the Riddler's plan shut down, Gotham's next major threat comes from the Penguin. The Penguin gathers Catwoman, Bane, Killer Croc, and Man-Bat, planning to take control of Gotham with an army of remote-controlled Penguin robots. The Penguin's crew works through Gotham's underworld to gather supplies and equipment. Catwoman helps steal diamonds and other valuable materials, Bane provides the muscle, Killer Croc operates from the sewers, and Man-Bat gets involved as the plan spreads into the darker corners of the city. Batman and Robin investigate the Penguin's operation, following the villains through rooftops, sewers, docks, and abandoned facilities as the Penguin army begins to take shape. One by one, though, the group falls apart. Bane is captured, Killer Croc is defeated, Catwoman is stopped, and Man-Bat is brought down before the Penguin's plan can fully overrun the city. Eventually, Batman and Robin confront the Penguin directly, destroying his equipment and putting an end to his attempt to conquer Gotham through weaponized mechanical birds. Finally, the Joker launches his own plan. Alongside Harley Quinn, Scarecrow, Mad Hatter, and Killer Moth, Joker prepares to unleash chaos across Gotham. His goal is to plant explosives at Gotham Cathedral and spread his deadly laughing gas throughout the city. Harley helps cause mayhem in the streets, Scarecrow spreads his fear toxin, Mad Hatter uses mind control, and Killer Moth assists from the shadows, doing whatever it is that Killer Moth does. Batman and Robin pursue them across Gotham, stopping each part of Joker's operation before it can spiral completely out of control. Scarecrow is defeated, Mad Hatter's mind control scheme is shut down, Harley is captured, and Killer Moth is also there. Eventually, Joker reaches the cathedral, where he prepares to set off his explosives and gas the city. Luckily, Batman and Robin arrive just in time, battling through his final defenses before taking the Clown Prince of Crime down. With Joker defeated, the last of the escaped villains are returned to Arkham Asylum. At last, Gotham is safe, at least for that night. Batman and Robin continue watching over the city, while the villains sit behind bars, already waiting for the next time everything inevitably falls apart. Sometime later, Gotham holds its Man of the Year award ceremony, with Bruce Wayne and Lex Luthor both nominated. Lex, being Lex, assumes the award should obviously go to him, but Bruce wins instead, because even in a LEGO universe, people apparently still prefer the billionaire playboy over the billionaire corporate suit. Before Bruce can even enjoy the victory, though, the ceremony is attacked by Joker, who makes his own case for Man of the Year. He's then joined by Harley Quinn, the Riddler, Two-Face, and the Penguin. The villains rob the audience, steal the award, and turn the event into a full-scale disaster. Bruce slips away, changes into Batman, and bursts in with Robin to stop them. Batman and Robin take down most of the villains inside the theater, then chase Joker to Amusement Mile, where they're able to finally capture him. Afterward, Superman arrives to congratulate Batman and Robin, immediately annoying Batman by being helpful, charming, and basically impossible to be mad at without looking insecure. Meanwhile, Lex Luthor is more interested in what Joker revealed during the attack. Evidently, Joker has developed a laughing gas capable of making people temporarily adore whoever it's used on. Lex figures if he can use the Joker's gas on the public, he may be able to win the presidency. To make that happen, Lex breaks Joker out of Arkham Asylum using a kryptonite-powered weapon called the Deconstructor, which can tear apart otherwise indestructible black LEGO objects. Joker agrees to help Lex obtain more kryptonite to power the device on a larger scale, with revenge on Batman and Gotham as his part of the deal. Joker uses the breakout as an excuse to release more of Gotham's rogues gallery, forcing Batman and Robin to return to Arkham and clean up the mess. There, they're able to recapture several villains, but Joker ends up escaping with Lex. Batman and Robin then track down Joker to Ace Chemicals, where he's stolen materials needed to create synthetic kryptonite. The factory erupts into chaos, and the two heroes nearly fall into a pit of flames before Superman swoops in to save them. Batman, naturally, is more worried about the crime scene's evidence being destroyed, refusing more help from the Man of Steel. Using the chemical signature from the stolen materials, Batman tracks Joker and Lex to Luthor's massive mobile command vehicle. Batman and Robin board it, but Lex and Joker overpower them, destroy the Batmobile, and force them to retreat. Back at the Batcave, Batman studies a piece of the synthetic kryptonite that they recovered, not realizing that it contains a location tracker. Lex and Joker use it to find the Batcave, break in, and destroy much of Batman's equipment with the Deconstructor, since they're made of black bricks. Even worse, they find and steal his hidden supply of real kryptonite before leaving. Once again, Superman arrives just in the nick of time to save Batman and Robin from the collapsing cave. With the situation now escalating far beyond Gotham, Batman finally agrees to work with Superman. The team of Superman, Batman, and Robin then follow Lex and Joker's flying fortress as they head to Metropolis. There, our heroes infiltrate LexCorp, where they discover Lex and Joker have built a giant Joker-themed robot powered by kryptonite. Batman and Superman then fight through LexCorp, but the robot proves dangerous enough to threaten both of them. Lex and Joker use the flying mech's kryptonite weapons to weaken Superman and then escape, taking their plan back to Gotham City. There, amidst the chaos unleashed by the robot, Lex releases Joker's gas on the citizens, instantly gaining their support for him as their next president. Batman and Superman fight back, but the robot's kryptonite core leaves Superman badly weakened. Luckily, Robin arrives with a newly modified, brightly colored Batmobile, designed to resist the Deconstructor's effects, allowing the heroes to continue the chase. As the battle tears through Gotham, Batman strategically causes the leaking kryptonite to create a giant glowing Joker face visible from space. At the orbiting Justice League watchtower, Martian Manhunter sees the signal and contacts the rest of the Justice League. Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, and Cyborg then arrive in Gotham City to lend their help, finally turning the fight against Lex and Joker. Lex, refusing to lose quietly, tries to destroy Wayne Tower out of spite. Superman and Wonder Woman work to stabilize the tower, while Batman, Robin, and the rest of the League battle Joker's robot. Eventually, with everyone's combined effort, the group scale the tower and destroy the robot. In the wake of the battle, Lex and Joker are both subsequently defeated with Martian Manhunter's help, and Wayne Tower is saved in the process. Afterward, as Lex and Joker are apprehended by Commissioner Gordon, Batman finally admits that he couldn't have saved the city alone. It's a small moment, but for Batman, this is a pretty big emotional breakthrough. The Justice League then prepares to help rebuild the Batcave, and Green Lantern sends a beam of energy into space as a celebration. Unfortunately, that signal is seen by Brainiac, who now knows exactly where he is. Around a year later, Brainiac begins capturing members of the Lantern Corps across the emotional electromagnetic spectrum, using their rings to power a shrink ray capable of reducing entire worlds for his collection. Unfortunately for our Lego Lantern, green is the only color left that he requires, leading Brainiac to his final target, Earth. In Gotham, Batman and Robin pursue Killer Croc, who has stolen a map of the sewer system beneath the Hall of Justice. Croc escapes from the duo and runs off to meet with Joker, Cheetah, Firefly, and Solomon Grundy, who have all recently escaped from Arkham Asylum. Again. Meanwhile, Cyborg completes the Slideways teleporter, linking the Hall of Justice to the Justice League Watchtower. Green Lantern tests it by traveling to the Watchtower, leaving the portal open, unknowingly creating the perfect opportunity for our villains. At the Batcave, Batman monitors Brainiac's approaching ship, only to be suddenly struck by its mind control ray. Batman becomes violent and unstable, but luckily, Robin manages to snap him out of it with an emotional speech. Batman, because he's Batman, refuses to accept that feelings helped him, and instead credits the Batmobile's electrical defenses. While the heroes deal with Brainiac's arrival, the villains use Croc's stolen map to infiltrate the Hall of Justice. There, they meet Lex Luthor, who has disguised himself as Hawkman to get access to the League's technology. Lex reveals his plan to use the Watchtower's fusion cannon to hold Earth hostage until he's elected President of Earth. But Joker proceeds to point out that scheming to become president is so last year. The villains then find the active Slideways teleporter portal and use it to reach the Watchtower, where they hijack the defenses to fight off Batman, Robin, and the other arriving members of the Justice League. While the heroes are able to subdue the villains aboard the Watchtower, a much larger threat then presents itself when Brainiac arrives and reveals his own goal: shrinking Earth to add it to his collection of bottled planets. To make matters worse, the Green Lantern then arrives, revealing that he's now under Brainiac's mind control. Superman flies into space to try to stop Brainiac's shrink ray, while the heroes and villains are forced into an uneasy alliance. The villains only agree because they realize that if Brainiac collects the Earth, they'd have nothing left to conquer. So, the combined group then infiltrates Brainiac's ship, but they're quickly captured. Robin, protected from Brainiac's mind control by Dr. Fate's helmet, fights off his defenses to free the others, while Superman manages to damage the shrink ray from outside. While the attack disrupts Brainiac's plan and brings his ship crashing down to Earth, the Justice League, including a recovered Green Lantern, finds it to be partially shrunk. Brainiac then flees, shrinking famous cities like Paris, London, and Pisa before attacking Gotham. The heroes and villains fight together and manage to defeat him, trapping him inside of his own ship. In order to control Z his damage, the group decide to recreate the shrink ray in reverse, using crystals from the Fortress of Solitude, pieces of Brainiac's destroyed ray, and some batteries powered by the lanterns. The heroes and villains swap outfits so the heroes can infiltrate the fortress housing the battery on the planet Okara, and after their fake prisoner distraction works, the group travel across more lantern worlds to collect more batteries. This leads the lanterns to chase them to the Fortress of Solitude, and as the emotional spectrum is brought together, the lanterns fire their combined ring energy powers into Superman, who concentrates all of it into the crystals, powering the reconstructed ray and restoring Earth to its proper size. Unfortunately, a blast of energy then knocks out Superman, before Lex and Joker scutter away to go make Luthor president. To make matters worse, Brainiac escapes again and regains control of his ship. This time, he uses his mind control ray on Superman, who has become relatively gigantic from holding the shrink ray during its activation. The heroes then try to stop Superman, but nothing works. At least, not physically. Batman then realizes the truth he refused to admit earlier. Robin's speech is what broke him free from Brainiac's control. So Batman proceeds to give Superman his own emotional speech, reminding him who he is and bringing him back to his senses. Superman breaks free from his mind control, destroys Brainiac's ship, returns to normal size, and returns the favor by shrinking Brainiac down in the process. Afterward, the Justice League restores Brainiac's captured cities, while Lex, Joker, and the League of Doom are apprehended inside the White House before they're imprisoned once again. For a moment, everything seems back to normal. That is, until Lex and Joker accidentally break the bottle holding the tiny Brainiac, restoring him to normal size. Sometime later, Commissioner Gordon personally oversees the transfer of a mysterious superpowered individual known only as the Rookie to Stryker's Island. On his way, Gordon learns that the Joker and Harley Quinn have seemingly broken into Wayne Tech. When they arrive at Stryker's, the Rookie proves to be an unknown potential threat, having the unusual ability to absorb energy and gain new powers. Gordon asks Lex Luthor, currently imprisoned, to help evaluate the Rookie in exchange for a reduced sentence. Before Lex can even agree, his assistant Mercy Graves arrives in disguise and breaks him out, taking the Rookie with them. The group proceeds to unleash the other imprisoned supervillains out into Metropolis. At the same time, Joker and Harley Quinn are inside Wayne Tech, looking for anything valuable enough, dangerous enough, or weird enough to justify their effort. During the break-in, Harley steals a Mother Box, an advanced piece of New Gods technology. During the chaos, the Justice League arrives, only to be confronted by a new team, calling themselves the Justice Syndicate. They claim to be heroes from another universe, but Harley then witnesses them forcefully teleport the Justice League away. With the League now gone, the Syndicate claims to the public that Earth's heroes are simply on an off-world mission, and that they'll protect the planet in their absence. Their leader, Ultraman, even poses as reporter Kent Clarkson to help control the narrative. However, the villains are immediately suspicious, and to be fair, when Lex Luthor and the Joker are the ones saying, "Hey, these guys seem evil," there might be something to it. Lex then gathers various villains at the Legion of Doom to investigate the Syndicate and eventually expose the truth. As they dig deeper, they discover that the so-called Justice Syndicate is actually the Crime Syndicate from Earth 3, a parallel universe where the League's counterparts are evil instead of good. The Crime Syndicate is predictably not here to protect Earth. Instead, they're searching for something on behalf of a much greater, but currently unknown, threat. Meanwhile, the villains recruit more allies, including Gorilla Grodd, Sinestro, and Black Adam, before launching an attack on the Crime Syndicate at LexCorp, which they've commandeered as their base. When they arrive, a fight breaks out, and Lex uses the distraction to betray everyone. Using Syndicate technology, he tries to warp the other villains away so that he can take control of Earth for himself. The Rookie blasts the machine to stop him, however, causing it to malfunction. Instead of removing the villains, the device brings the planet Apocalypse dangerously close to Earth, and scatters everyone to random locations. Joker, Harley, and the Rookie are sent to Apocalypse, where they discover the Crime Syndicate's true master, the tyrannical Darkseid. Darkseid, as it turns out, is searching for the final piece of the anti-life equation, a force that would allow him to control the entire universe. Just before Darkseid can destroy them, the Justice League escapes from its imprisonment on Apocalypse and rescues the villains just in time. Regrouping at the Watchtower, the League explains the danger of the anti-life equation, while back on Earth, the Crime Syndicate twists the story, convincing the public that the Justice League has turned evil. With Darkseid approaching and the Crime Syndicate controlling the narrative, Batman realizes that there's only one option left. The Justice League has to team up with the Legion of Doom. Heroes and villains then work together again to gather allies across the various worlds, while exposing the truth along the way. Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen investigate the Syndicate from the ground, while the combined forces of good and evil prepare to turn the public opinion against Earth's fake protectors. Their plan culminates in the Alliance tricking Johnny Quick, Earth 3's version of the Flash, into revealing the Crime Syndicate's plan on camera. Lois broadcasts the footage worldwide, exposing the Syndicate as frauds working for Darkseid. With the truth revealed and the public back on their side, the heroes and villains storm the Hall of Justice and finally face the Crime Syndicate face to face. The League then opens up a portal to Earth 3, and a blast of energy from the Rookie powers it just enough to send the Syndicate back to where they came from. In the wake of the battle, however, the Rookie absorbs the energy from the Mother Box Harley Quinn stole from Wayne Tech. As it turns out, that Mother Box was what contained the final piece of the anti-life equation, which means the very thing Darkseid has been searching for is now inside the Rookie. Darkseid sends his forces to Earth to retrieve them, and the Rookie is eventually captured and taken back to Apokolips. The alliance of the Justice League and the Legion of Doom then launch one final combined mission to save the universe. And the Rookie, I guess. Lex claims that he has a plan to send Apokolips back where it came from. But, because he's Lex Luthor, there's always at least a 30% chance that that plan involves abandoning everyone else. The heroes and villains take the risk and follow his plan, fighting through Darkseid's forces before confronting him directly. Darkseid then extracts the anti-life equation from the Rookie, seemingly becoming unstoppable in the process. Luckily, the equation doesn't work the way it should. Batman then realizes that the Rookie is actually from Earth 3, just like the Crime Syndicate. Because of the Rookie's reverse physiology, the anti-life equation has been altered, allowing the Rookie to use it against Darkseid and his army. Instead of enslaving the universe, the Rookie changes the forces of Apokolips, making them extremely nice and kind. Darkseid is defeated, not through brute force or violence, but by being forcibly turned into a better person, which is honestly a worse fate for him than death. With Darkseid neutralized, Lex attempts one last betrayal, trying to leave the others behind and take over Earth for himself. With the Rookie's help, the Alliance returns home and stops him. In the end, the Rookie is given a choice: join the Justice League as a hero, or stay with the Legion of Doom as a villain. Either way, the LEGO DC Universe is left with a new wildcard, the Justice League is restored, and the villains go right back to being villains. Because they may have saved the world, that doesn't mean they learned anything in the process. And with that, we reach the end of the story of the LEGO Batman and LEGO DC Supervillains games so far. What starts as a simple Arkham breakout gradually expands into a full DC universe, with Batman learning to accept help, the Justice League coming together, Brainiac nearly collecting the Earth like a souvenir, and the villains themselves having to step up when an even worse group of criminals steals their spotlight. It's goofy, it's ridiculous, and while it's absolutely not the darkest Batman timeline I've ever covered, there is something weirdly charming about watching the universe grow from Gotham bank robberies to multiversal villain politics, and Darkseid getting defeated by weaponized niceness. While LEGO Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight will take us back to the origins of the world's greatest detective and beyond, revisiting the story so far, brick by brick, has been one seriously constructive use of our time. Hey everybody, that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment letting me know which game, franchise, or weirdly complicated children's property I should cover next. I've been doing a lot of them lately. Special thanks to all of my patrons and channel members on screen for your continued support. Every YouTuber will tell you that the algorithm is making things difficult these days, so you folks sticking around means the world to me, and of course helps the channel more than you'd ever know. So as always, thank you all so much for watching. I've been Suggestive Gaming, and now you're in the know.